Hello everyone, our lesson today is on jargon, and let's start by explaining what we mean by jargon. I think the easiest way to explain jargon is by using the word technical. So it is technical language. It refers to words used by experts or by specific people, a specific group of people in a specific area or field of interest. If we think about all groups of people, let's say students, people who study, they will have special language for all their subjects. So the sciences all have their own special language, or the arts students, or people like us, the language students. We all have our own special language. Professional people, like doctors, lawyers, architects, will all have their own language. People who are involved in services or trades, electricians, plumbers, carpenters, people in sports or games of any kind, all have their own special technical language. So jargon tends to be factual because you are naming the different aspects of a particular subject or a particular field, and obviously everybody in that field can understand the words that you use. So for example, if you talk about the font on a computer, everybody who works with computers knows that you mean the type that you use. When you type the letter, what is its shape? What does it look like? So everybody in a particular field can understand that technical language. But just a word of warning. Remember to use simple language if you can, rather than jargon. And remember also that jargon must always help to make meaning clear. If you're using jargon to make people feel stupid or uncomfortable, I'm going to say that again because I think there was a noise. If you're using jargon to make people feel stupid or ignorant or not part of the group, then you aren't using jargon in the best way possible. During this week, your activity will involve looking at multimodal texts. I need to say that again because I misspelt that. Your activities will be involving multimodal texts. Now let's just start with that jargon word, multimodal. You know that multi means many. So these are texts that combine the written word with visual or graphic information. In other words, information that appeals to your eyes. So I wanted to look at some of the jargon terms that you will have thrown at you when you are asked to explain certain things, and just make sure that you know what it is that you're asked to do. Let's look at the first one. You can be asked to look at the layout of a text, and that is the arrangement of the different bits of the text. There are pieces of text, some of which could be writing and some of which could be drawings. Layout refers to how all of that is arranged. You could be asked to discuss the illustrations. These are drawings or pictures or photos or even diagrams. If you think of your textbooks, a diagram would also be part of the illustration. Remember that you can use all of these in visual text, in written text, but also don't forget in orals. You sometimes are asked to use illustrations that go with your spoken text. Graphic information refers to presenting anything in the form of a picture or an image, something that you look at. And you know things like graphs of various kinds. I'm sure you also know a bar graph. You do graphs in various subjects. You can be asked to look at tables. This, for example, is a train timetable, so that's also graphic information. And what about maps, like the maps from geography? Or even a mind map, such as one that you might use in your English classroom. These are all jargon terms related to multimodal texts, and I want you to do a task as well. And this is your task for the day. Here are 4 jargon words which you could get as part of a multimodal text, because alliteration, for example, could be used in an advert. You could have antonyms in all sorts of visual and multimodal texts. You could be asked how an illustration affects the atmosphere. You could be asked about the writing and asked to explain a cliché. So your task, please, is to explain the meanings of those jargon terms which are used in the English classroom. Pause and do that now. What is alliteration? It is the use of repeated consonants at the beginnings of words that are quite close together. It's a figure of speech. An antonym is a word with a meaning opposite to that of the word you've been given. Atmosphere refers to the feeling created by a piece of writing or by a visual. And a cliché is a word or phrase that has been used so often that it has very little meaning anymore. Remember to watch out for jargon and make sure you understand all the jargon words your teacher uses. From me for today, bye-bye.